Welcome to Hexed Encountered. I'm Joe. In this video, we will be continuing our gameplay of the game 85 Graveyard of Empires. This is a squad battles game. It is from Flying Pig Games and designed by Mark H. Walker. This is the second video in which we're going to kind of take a look at a little bit more of an advanced scenario. Maybe not advanced so much as just including more things. In our first video, we looked at an infantry-only scenario, very straightforward, not a lot of other things added in. This one we have some tanks and we have helicopter as well, so you will get to see a little bit more of what the game has to offer. This is actually a fictitious scenario. It is called Jalalabad. As the Soviet first tank drove into Jalalabad on May 14, 1985, they expected little in the way of resistance. The Mujahideen had other plans. Using vehicles captured from Prince Hamid's Royal Guard the previous week, the rebels planned an unpleasant welcome for Dramanovic's men. By the way, there is no Prince Hamid's Royal Guard. It's a fictitious scenario that lets you play with the tanks, which was the point that I was hoping to get to. And I actually kind of already knew about this because I had already looked at this scenario when I was deciding what video to do first. So this has a lot more of what the game has to offer. And, the next part of the game that I'm going to look at is the Alone in the Mountains add-on, which is the solitaire add-on. So this is a two-player game. And so you lose a little bit of the nuance when you play this solitaire, a little bit of the back and forth and the strategy because you're playing as both sides, obviously. But this game does play pretty well managing both sides. So it's not that big of a deal. So the first thing we do when we're getting ready to start is we deal out the cards. In this scenario, the Soviets get 5 cards, so that's one more than usual, and that gives them a little bit of an advantage. So I'm going to give them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm doing this a little differently than I did it before where I was alternating. Those are the Soviet cards. The Afghans get 4, and I'll put them over here. And now I have to pause and shuffle in our 3 end turn cards and our 3 event cards. That was another thing. So these are our 3 end turn cards, and these are our 3 event cards. So these will get shuffled into the deck, and I'm going to pause here and come back, and it'll just be a moment for you guys. One thing I did forget to do is there are bonus victory condition cards. So we're going to give 1 to the Soviets and 1 to the Mujahideen. And we'll see what we get. For the Mujahideen, they get destroy an enemy vehicle using assault combat. So if they do that, they get 4 extra victory points. I'm going to put that over here. It's off camera, but I can see it. On the Soviet side, theirs is play before scenario setup. Remove 1 rifle unit from your allocated forces. Well, I already set up. And that kind of stinks. So I guess they're going to get 4 victory points for losing a rifle squad before we even start. Well, I guess we'll get rid of this one. So we lose one of our rifle squads before we even begin. But as you can see, these are the Soviets here set up. The Afghans are at the bottom this way. This is a 2-map scenario. We have map 5 at the top, map 4 at the bottom. You won't really ever get to see the whole thing because I like to keep it a little bit tighter, but I will move the camera up and down so you can see various parts of the board as we play. Now, this is an 8-turn scenario with 3 end turn cards per turn. Special scenario rules. As I mentioned, the Soviet hand size is 5 cards. The Soviets and the Mujahideen artillery each have 3 high explosive factors. That's the firepower, so they will draw 3 cards. And we placed building tiles in several places, here, here, and here. We also placed a rubble tile here and a crater tile there. So that was something that was neglected to be put into the original print run, but Mark Walker is a class guy, and he immediately jumped on that and got it fixed and sent everybody the tile as soon as possible. Victory conditions. The side with the most victory points at the end of the scenario wins. Both sides get 1 victory point for each leg unit eliminated and 2 for each vehicle eliminated. The Soviets receive 1.5 victory points, and the Mujahideen 1 victory point for each building hex controlled at scenario end. And both sides get 4 victory points for accomplishing their bonus victory condition. So the Soviets already got their 4, and the Afghans can get their 4 if they destroy an enemy vehicle using assault combat, or the Mujahideen, rather. Okay, so let's do initiative. So in the first video I did, I just kind of rolled a die for it. This time I'm going to actually look at the numbers, and I'm going to say that both sides will want to play their highest card to start and to try to get initiative. So the Soviets have a 10. The Afghans only have an 8. The Mujahideen, I keep doing that, and I probably will do it more. So hopefully that doesn't offend anybody. But they get an 8. So they get to keep their 8, but the Russians get to lose their 10, but they do get initiative. So the Soviets go first. They have initiative. Here's our initiative marker. It goes right here on our turn track. Once we hit turn 8, that will be the end of the scenario. We will not do all 8 turns in one video. I can guarantee you that. We'll see how things go, and that will determine how far we go. So looking at the cards in their hand, they have fire and fire and move with a power, move and fire and reinforcements, bloodlust and move, and sniper, which is Mujahideen only, and grenades. Okay, so I think we're going to play a basic move card here. We'll play move. Move 1 hex of eligible units. So we will move, let's see. I'm going to put this down here actually. I've got my Soviets on the left and my Mujahideen on the right. We're going to move our tanks since we haven't played with tanks yet. They have a 6 and a T, which indicates, as you might expect, tracked vehicle. Now, if we look here, they are on a road, right? And units that spend all impulse movement points on a road get +1 movement point. 5B3. So this is 5B3. This is a road. It is a road for vehicles and either road or rough for leg. All right. So we're going to move this guy 1, 2, 3. Or maybe we move this guy and do a move and fire. I think I have a move and fire. Do I not? I do. All right. We didn't get to do a move and fire in the previous scenario, but we're going to do one right now. So the way move and fire works, you move half fractions rounded up of your movement factor and fire. Okay. Against vehicle movement MF equals miss. Against leg units, only orange and red equal hits. So they're talking about this right here. So you see this, if this comes up when you look at the, if you're attacking an armored unit, and this comes up, that means if you moved, you miss. So it's kind of a penalty to moving and firing. But we're going to do it. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. That is half his movement factor. I love the big counters here, by the way. I've hit on this before when doing Flying Pig games. So we're going to fire here at this building, which is, if you look at it, it's a black dot building, which means it's not a heavy building. It's a light building. So we will attack the RPD unit in there with our two HEF factor. So what we have to do now is we look here, and you have range. You have range effects, right? So we're in a vehicle, and we've got a +1 for 3, which is the range, right? It's only 2 actually, so it's still +1. So it's +1 for that. And then they're in a building. And so a building gives you a cover factor of half. 1 cover for, or 1 half. 1 or 2. 1 for black center, 2 for red. There's the thickness of the building. So we lose our extra, but it becomes a 2. So now we draw 2 cards. Well, we draw 1 at a time. And we look at, it's move and fire. So a red or an orange is a hit. And look, we got a hit. So that is one hit, and now we draw the second card, and it's red. So we actually get 2 hits. So we got 2 hits here. So this rifle is going to be shaken and reduced. It is only one target. So this rifle unit is going to get a shaken, and it's also going to be reduced. So we flip it to its backside with the stripe, and then we put a shaken marker on it, and I'll just put that on the bottom. And then our Arash and RPD are obviously unaffected. This guy gets a fired marker, and one thing I forgot to do is with vehicles, you have to turn them so that they're facing a vertex. So he's actually facing this way. And so these guys down here will also have to do that. So they would be something along these lines here. And I realize now you can't see this, but I'm turning the Mujahideen vehicles, and I will turn the Soviet vehicles here in a second. So this guy would be going like that, or maybe like this. And these guys would be going like this as well. And this one, he's good actually, I think. Yeah, he's good, right? Upside down. Okay. All right, so that would end the Soviet impulse. We go to the, oh, and I forgot to draw a card for the Soviets, so I'll just draw 2 next time. But the Afghans have a bunch of move and fires as well. So they have rally and second wind, which is useful. Move and fire and reinforcements. Fire, power, and move. And a move and fire and rally. So let's do a rally. We're going to use a rally card here to remove the shaken from our rifle squad there. So they will remove the shaken. Because shaken does not come off automatically at the end of return. So now we go back to the Soviets. They have 3 cards, so they get to draw 2 more. And we got an event card. First event card. So the event card, event number 3 for this scenario, I got to look it up in the book here, so give me a second. Jalalabad, here we go. 3, Stinger missile. Target any visible helicopter, draw an action card. Green equals 3 hits, gold equals 2 hits, red equals 1 hit. Anything else equals no hits. This card gets expended, does not get shuffled back in. You only get your events once. Our other card that we drew is a panic and retreat. So this one would play after an attack against a non-hero infantry unit. You can remove the unit if it's reduced and shaken. So basically, they flee the battlefield. So let's resolve this this event. So we have an Mi-24 here. It is hovering. So we're going to draw a card. And it is green. It won't focus, but trust me, it's green. Now our helicopter is right here. So 3 hits. The helicopter does have an ability. So the ability with the blue, well, no, that's the targeting draw. It's the other one. Wait. It has a power. So if I have a power card for the Soviets, and I do, they can play the power card to activate the resilient and make it 2 hits. Okay, so they take 2 hits now instead of 3. Okay, so now we look at the damage, which I believe is here. So the first one is a miss, and the second one is turret hit, which means it hits the well, it's not a tank, but and it's not moving fire. So that actually destroys the helicopter because only one hit, I believe, destroys a helicopter. So the Stinger missile kills the helicopter, and I didn't even really get to play with it, so I'm kind of bummed about that. Um, but yeah, that's a big loss for the Soviet side. So now they get to take their regular turn, I believe. That was the Soviets that drew that event, right? Or was that the Mujahideen? That was the Mujahideen, actually. So they still get to do. No, they did their rally. That was the Soviets. Sorry. All right. So the Soviets will get to play something here. Let's see. Move. Let's play. We're gonna attack. We're gonna play a fire. Oh, we don't have a fire card. Well, crap. I guess we'll play move. We got a move card here. We'll move our other tank, and here we'll go one. Now, as soon as he does this, we've got a shot right up this line right here from the RPG. He can take an opportunity fire if the Mujahideen have a fire card. They do, so they will use the fire card and they will attack this tank. So our range is 1, 2, 3, 4. And an RPG at 4, it's out of range, so he can't fire. So I take that fire card back because he can't fire. Okay. Too far away, luckily for him. So that was 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. This RPG could have shot at him when he was here, so let's do that. This RPG will take the opportunity fire shot, and the range is only 2. So now we take the opportunity fire shot. So the armor on our tank here is a 4. No, a 3. I'm sorry, a 3. Their firepower attacking a tank is a 2. Okay, so the range is actually 3. 1, 2, 3. You count the firing hex, but not the target hex. So it's 1, 2, 3. You subtract the 2 for his fire AP firepower from that 3, and it makes a 1. And you draw a card, and you look at this number here and indicates whether or not it's a hit. A 10 is definitely above a 1. That is a hit. Okay, so we know it got hit. Now we draw the next card, and it says MF. So that is. So the reason I mentioned the MF is that if the firing unit was moving, that would mean it was a miss on the previous thing. The number we're looking at now is this -4, and you add that to the range modifiers. RPGs do not get a range modifier, so it is basically a 0. So you subtract 4, so we have a -4. The armor factor on this tank is a 4. No, I'm sorry, a 3. I keep doing that. It's a 3. So the shot clangs off. Now, because it was hit, even though it didn't destroy it, we have to mark it ops complete because it was hit by opportunity fire. So it's going to stop underneath here. So these two tanks are in the same hex, which is legal. Actually, he can't stop there. It's only one ground vehicle per hex. So he's going to go there and get marked ops complete, and he will stay there and marked fired. Now we go back to the Mujahideen, who only have 2 cards. So I'm going to draw 2 for them. And we get Bullet Storm, Move, and Move and Fire Rally. So Oh, and he gets a fired marker. So I need to put that on there. Now they now have another RPG, but the range, these tanks are out of range. 1, 2, 3, 4, out of range. Tank, we do have the BMP, who can fire at the tank. He's got a 2, so let's do that. Let's move him. We'll do a move and fire. Movement factor is a 6, so we're going to play the move and fire card. He's going to move 1 and stop right there, and then he's going to fire, and he's within 4, so he's going to get a bonus on the AP range. His firepower is a 2, so we draw a card. It is a turret hit, okay, but it has the MF, so that means it's a miss. That means it's a miss. He gets ops complete. And we go to the Soviets, who have 3 cards, so they're going to draw 2. 1, 2. They get a fire with a power and move. They get command ops, which allows you to draw a card and gain 2 additional actions. So we'll do that. We're going to play this. We're going to draw a card. And we've got fast move and rally. Then we have sniper, which is Mujahideen only. Grenades, panic retreat, bloodlust, move with power. We have fire as well. I think what we'll do is we'll fire this hex at this tree line here. All right, so we're going to play the fire card, even though it has a power, and I was hoping to keep the power. So we're going to attack here. We've got a 2 and a 3, that's 5. Attacking the this hex here. We'll attack the RPG. That'll protect our armor. It's got a -2 armor factor. So actually, that means we would have to only use the AGS-17, I guess. Let's attack the rifle. We'll attack the rifle unit here. So the range is 1, 2, 3, 4. The rifle at that range is no modification. The AGS-17 is also no modification. So it's just their simple 2 and 3 is 5. Now they are in trees or woods, so the woods gives them a cover factor of 1. So that 5 becomes a 4, and we just draw cards to see what happens. We get an event. So I think we'll play that, if I remember correctly. Event 2, anyway, I think is also Stinger. Yes, it's a Stinger missile. There are no helicopters, so it's just going to get discarded. So now we'll try again. We get a yellow hit, which is not a hit. And we get a green hit, so that's 1 hit, and that's 2. Another green hit, that's 3 cards, 2 hits. And our final card is also green, so we get 3 hits. So 3 hits will actually kill this rifle unit, so he gets destroyed. So now Badar is left with just his RPG in that hex, so that actually worked out all right. And let me fix this here. And now we go back to the Mujahideen, who have 3. We need to draw 1. We get light wounds and reload and fire. Single unit may... Oh, let's do this. Let's do this. We're going to do reload and fire, and we're going to take the fired marker off of our RPG, because he can still, I'm pretty sure, get to that one. Yes, he can. All right, so he's going to be good to go to fire again. So we know the range is 1, 2, 3, 4. So, he can only fire his original target. So let's change it up here. I'm going to put that fired marker back on him, and we'll play one of these other cards. All right, so we have a tank here, of course, and a second tank here, and another bump 1 over here. We'll just play move. We're just going to move. And we're going to move our tank, and it's going to go 1, 2, and then the movement for tanks to go into woods is off tracked 3. So he went 1, 2, so this would be 5, and he's allowed to do that, and we'll face him this way, which counts as an extra movement factor anyway, so that uses up all of his 6, and we now draw a card for the Soviets. They get punishing fire and canister. We're going to play move, and we're going to move 1, 2. Now again, not in the range of this RPG. RPD can't fire at armor because again, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's way out of range. So that's 1, 2, 3, which is half, and then we're going to unload the rifle unit and put them underneath. And that ends, it should be turned like that. That ends that activation for the Soviets. We draw 1 for the Mujahideen. They command ops. We'll play this. We'll draw a card. And we get 2 actions now. So we're going to use the fire action on this card. We don't have any powers, unfortunately. We're going to use this, and we're going to fire at this tank. So he can't do that. We can't do that. Let's try and move up and take this building. How about that? So let's... we'll keep that same card and just play it for the move. We have Arash here, who's in a black anyway. So he'll give them a 4. So they can go 1 and then into the building. And we'll mark them as moved. And we'll go over to the Soviets now. They get 1 card. They get a command op. So again, we'll draw the card, take the second action. Ambush. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to put a move on this too. Okay, so we've got units here. 1, 2, 3. The range is 3. We're going to use punishing fire. We can only fire with 1 unit, and we will use the RPK because it has 2 firepower, and we can fire twice. And we're going to fire here, and we will fire at our reduced rifle. Let's see if we can kill it. So got 2. They're in a building, which gives them, I think, 1. It's only it's a black dot building, so they only get 1. So we draw 1 card. It is a green hit, so they get shaken. And now you can shoot again, but it says target may retreat between attacks. So I think that they would take that opportunity. So they can retreat 1 hex, and this becomes ops complete, and they've lost their cover as well. They can only move 1 hex, but they are now out of the sight of our fired unit there. Mark this guy fired, and the rifle unit is still eligible. Back to the Mujahideen. They have 3 cards. They draw 1. It's end turn. That's our first end turn. So they draw again. We get move and fire and second wind. So we can remove a moved or fired marker. We're going to play this. We're going to remove the moved from our tank. That way he can attack. That ends them. We go to the Soviets, who have 4, so they get 1. It's light wounds, which lets them ignore a hit. We're going to let's do an assault. I'm going to do a fast move. I'm going to play fast move. So we're going to take our rifle squad here, and he's going to go 1. Now, because they have a moved marker, they're not an eligible unit, so he can go 2. And now he has 4, which will allow him to assault the building. Okay, so move him in there. And we're going to apply the ambush action here, which allows them to fire first in assault combat and apply that result before the defender rolls. So they have a 2. and the defenders have a 3. So getting to go first is a big advantage here. So we're going to draw 2 cards, and in an assault, green and red are both hits. So that's a hit. So that's 1 hit, and that's 2 hits. So they both get applied evenly, which shakes both. Sorry, I don't need to do that. They both get shaken. So now we resolve the others. Well, we resolved the defender now. So that's 1 hit. They have a firepower of 3. 2. That's an end turn with a hit on it. And the last card is yellow, so that's not a hit. So the 2 hits applied here will shake and reduce him. But they will have to retreat because in a tie, the attacker must retreat to the hex from which they entered. So that's this one. So he's shaken and reduced. They're both shaken. And that ends the Soviet action phase, or impulse rather. Now we'll draw again. We get a fire for the Mujahideen rather, and a move. So I think what we will do is, do we have a rally card? We do have a rally card. So actually, I'm going to play this reinforcements, and I'm going to draw another card, and they got a second rally card, so that's good. So they're going to use the rally card, and we're going to rally Arash. We'll rally Arash. So he's no longer shaken. And now the Soviets go, and they get critical hit and first fire. So, and they get a second card because we played 2. Artillery, Soviet only. So they're going to play artillery. Okay, so we're going to play artillery, and we're going to target this hex and then the 2 adjacent, which would be these 2. So the first thing we have to do is roll to see if the target is a hit, and for that we roll a die, and it is a 3. It's actually 1 through 3 is a miss, and 4 to 6 is on target, but the Soviets get a +1. And they rolled a 2, so that's actually a miss. So that misses, and that's the end of their attack. So no damage there. The artillery drifts to a random adjacent hex. So we have to pull. It won't matter because if it goes here, it would matter, I guess. So let's. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's a 1, which would be here, and then these would be the ones that would be hit with the barrage. So they would get barrage markers like this, which will only last for 1 turn, and then they would go away. So now we'll draw 1 for the Mujahideen. They get event 1. Event 1, let me throw that out, is I think it's a Su-25 strike. Yes, Su-25 Frogfoot. Target 2 adjacent hexes. The hexes do not need to be in line of sight. Plane has been called in to provide general support. Attacks each hex with 6 HEF spraying fire if the targets are leg, or 7 APF with a target modifier of -3 if the target is a vehicle. Okay, so let's attack these 2 vehicles. And the target factor here, let's see. So, okay, so the -3 means that their targeting is a you take 3 from the card, and if the value is less than 0, then it's a miss. So both of these will also get a bonus for their terrain. This one will get a bonus for terrain, and this one because he moved. And even though this one moved, he's not marked moved. So that hurts him. So they're both -4. We pull a card. The target number is a 10, so that is a hit. And then we're doing the T-55 first. So now we pull the next card. It says turret hit, which increases the armor by 1, so his armor becomes a 3. Oh, wait, no, that's wrong. That's wrong. We look at the number here. I'm sorry. So this said turret hit, and the number was a 10. So, wait. Yeah, I think that's right. So anyway, regardless, this 3 means that that's not going to damage the unit. So now we'll do this one. It's a -2. So the -2, -4 is a -6. So that's not a hit either. And that ends the Soviet turn, I guess. And we draw a card for the Mujahideen, and it is the end turn card, and that ends the turn. And I'm going to wrap the video now only because I'm running low on time here, and we'll pick this up. I'll do a part 2 of this, and we'll just resume here at the end of turn 1 and play at least another 2, maybe probably 2 turns at least. So thank you for watching. As always, feel free to comment, ask questions, etc. Please consider liking, sharing, and or subscribing. Any of that stuff is always greatly appreciated. But for now, that's going to do it. I'm Joe. This is the Hexed Encounter channel. And until next time, as always, happy gaming.